Hi, this is a Pentair Model 320 In-line Chlorinator. It's a standard configuration that Pentair/Rainbow recommends to automatically chlorinate your pool with 3-inch tabs. My pool suffers from low chlorine. The pool people that I bring over each give me 100 different reasons and new equipment and new add-ons and sell-ons. But I keep pointing to the fact that the way that this Pentair Chlorinator is supposed to work, water is supposed to come out of a special diverter tee right here, come up this tube into this valve, which has a scale from 1 to 5, into the chlorinator, and then back down into this pipe, which is supposed to return it to the pool. Does anybody see a problem with this configuration? The problem that I see is that there's no differential pressure, i.e. the pressure in this tube where the chlorine tabs are and the pressure coming out of this port and where it's supposed to enter back into the stream are exactly the same. So my hypothesis is that there's going to be no flow or very, very little flow. And I'm going to install a flow meter at the end of this valve and rerun this so that we can see what the baseline flow looks like. I'm going to then install a high flow kit and tap into the line between the filter and the heater, because the pressure in this is going to be higher than the pressure in this tube, and it should be a higher flow. That's the hypothesis we're going to take. But first, here's what all the pool guys are going to show you. They're going to say, here's our chlorine tabs. We've got this on off. They're going to turn on the flow of the pool, then turn this on, and when they see water coming out here, they're going to say, see, there, it flows. There's no problem with your chlorinator. But they cannot comprehend, at least no one has, the pressure here is going to be the same as the pressure here. So there should be no flow. But when the cap's off, it's going to flow. Does that make sense? See, that's the test they all run to show you that your chlorinator works. But I believe that is misleading. So I have piped in a rotary flow indicator, low pressure PVC flow indicator, in the exact same configuration as Pentair recommends. And here's, you can see the model number. It's a GEMS flow sensor, part number 155480, rotor flow. Might be kind of hard to see here, but that's the make and model. You can get that for $20, $30 on the internet. It is turned off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the filter pump, and then I'm going to turn this on and mark the point from 1 to 5 of where we first start to see flow. And then I'm going to try to count and get an estimation of how fast this is flowing and compare the videos at the same point, at the max flow. What do you know? So we can see, fully open, fully pressurized, there is no flow. It's not moving. Confirming my hypothesis. So what we saw here is in the fully open position at 5, this was not even moving. which is, I expected it to at least be moving somewhat, which means there's absolutely no flow coming from this to this. So this chlorinator barely is working. I'm going to do the same thing with the cap off so we can see this flow meter, make sure it is working, even under no pressure. So here's at 5. A little flow here. So we can see that the flow meter does work. Okay, so I've decided to install the Pentair high flow feeder kit number R171099er. As you can see, there is the schematic. The pool store technician, major brand in Texas here, said that they've never in their 30 years ever sold or needed one of these kits because the piping method that I just showed you always works, but as we see, it does not. The service tech went as far to say that if I installed this high flow feeder kit, it was going to blow up the Pentair 320. So here's the Pentair with the flow meter. I put the 90 back on. I took it off the bottom and installed the plug. I've installed the check valve. Notice the flow is the correct way. And then here is the tap-in line kit using a 9/16 drill. I'm not a big fan of this. I really want to install a 2-inch T with a reducing female 3/4 inch NPT bushing. I'm going to do it just because I've got this first. I'm going to try it this way. I can always cut it out and install it the way that I believe it should be done. This is sort of hokey. But anyways, here goes. I'm going to turn this on from the other side, and let's hope we don't have an explosion. Okay, we've turned it on. Here goes. Hopefully this doesn't explode just like that pool tech said it would. Let's see if we can see when this starts turning. Oh, what do you know? Look. At number 2. Let's dial it back so it almost starts. So at approximately 1.5 we start getting flow into the feeder. 1.5. Let's turn it up. I can feel it working. Wow. Now that's chlorination flow for you, folks. I'm almost afraid to turn it to 5, but we'll go to 5. Look at that go. There it is. Full speed. That's some serious chlorination, folks. I'm going to dial this down and start checking my chlorine. So there you have it, folks. The high flow feeder kit. Why Pentair would ever recommend installing it the way that it was installed per the factory recommendations, I have no idea, because it does not work. I'm going to next install the extender kit so it comes up to about here. I can load about 10 of those 3-inch tabs. I'll keep this plumbing and it'll just drop those down so I don't have to fill this up every week. Right now I was getting 3 chlorine tabs every 3 months dissolving. Now I'm going to hopefully see my chlorine levels go way up. There it is, folks. The first ever high flow feeder kit install on YouTube. Good luck.